Okay, so um, here's the babbling parts for those of you who don't have anything better to do, I guess, or further curiosity. Um, I do dedicate this installment to Charlie Costanzo, and I worked with Charlie for a couple of years, a few years back at Camp Sequoiastin, and I dedicate this installment to him because he was an important inspiration for my doing this at all. I had known Charlie one summer at camp, and then the next summer he was back and he was strumming the guitar, and he hadn't been the first summer, and I interviewed him about it, and I think he told me that he had started playing in January, so maybe 5 or 6 months before the season started. And so, you know, he certainly wasn't a great guitarist or anything, but he was functional and making a useful contribution to the camp program. And he had done that in well, about 5 months, I guess, in about 20 weeks. So that's where I got my idea for doing this 20 weeks to guitar, which has turned into the 14 weeks to guitar. So Charlie, wish me well if you're out there. I'll have to find your email address to send you the links to this. But anyway, thanks for the inspiration, and you gave me the idea that this was a possible thing. So thanks. A couple of things. I stopped at the music store. I guess it was yesterday or the day before. Maybe it was the day before. No, maybe it was yesterday. Who cares? And I got, because I was getting some new strings. When Jason lent me this guitar 5 weeks ago, he did say, it's like, oh yeah, I could probably use some new strings, so I might want to take care of that. And I hadn't done it, and I'm not familiar with what the difference between new and old strings would make on this guitar. I still have the old strings on here, but I was really enjoying the sort of dry, dull sound that this guitar has. And I remember some of you may have seen the video reply that Jason sent to installment 1, and he was talking about moving my picking up to the sound hole, which I've been doing sometimes, but I often still like to play back here. I like the dullness of it, and I was actually hesitant to put new strings on because thinking that the sound will probably become brighter, there'll be more high overtones to things, and it'll just bother my ears. Like, one thing I've liked about, I've really been surprised by how much I like how quiet this can be. And it's funny, you know, sometimes when playing the piano, I was just irritated by the noise that the damn thing makes. And yeah, you can play quietly, but it can be difficult to play quietly depending on what you're playing. And so what I like about this is I can be really quiet, and sometimes I find myself being so quiet that I can actually barely hear what I'm doing. I'm more like sort of, I don't know, like rubbing the pick against the string rather than actually plucking it sometimes. But that's been an interesting thing. Anyway, though, I thought, I'm just curious, and I'm kind of a little bit tired of the dull sound also, so I got some new strings. I really had no idea of how frequently one changes strings on a guitar. I'm thinking, well, you know, you change your piano strings once every, never, basically. So I asked the guy at the music store, so how often should I be, is this like something you do like weekly or yearly or every 14 years, or how does this work? And this was his answer. It'll be interesting to hear back from you guitarists out there to see what your recommendation is. But this guy was saying, oh yeah, well, you know, a lot of people will say it's sort of, you know, the official word seems to be do it every 12 hours of playing. But I think that's probably too frequent, especially at the student level. So that's going to depend on you and like your body chemistry. Because my father, he had really acidic sweat, and he'd change his strings every week because the acid in his sweat would be just corroding the strings. But so I myself, I don't have that problem. So I change my strings about once a month. So I feel like, you know, like monthly, probably the thing you want to do monthly. Like, oh, okay. So I don't know, is that a line that I was being given, so I would just buy more strings, or do you people out there think that that's a worthwhile thing to do? I'd be curious about your feedback. Anyway, I got the strings, and maybe this weekend I will put them on. And it'll be interesting to hear how the guitar sound changes. I also got some picks. I've been using this pick that Jason gave me, and it's pretty stiff, and so I got some that were sort of medium and really flexible, and I kind of liked that. I did tonight's installment with the pick that Jason gave me just because I have most experience with it, but I have been really liking the flexible picks. Anyway, well, yeah, whatever, we won't get into that, but this is one super duper crazy flexible. It's like a piece of paper or something. Maybe it's too flexible, but I've been exploring that, and that's been interesting. While we're on the subject of Jason, I'll just give a reply. Well, Jason, thank you so much for your advice and the thing about being relaxed. I think I was probably more relaxed than I looked in that video, because I have my hand in this position. It looks like it's clenched or something. It's really not. I'm just holding my fingers there. I know tonight I've had my fingers out more, but it really wasn't as tight as it looked. But I have been making a point of trying that circular picking thing that you described, and it's true, I hadn't been working on that when I made installment 1, but as I was picking back here at that time, it really was like I was really focusing, as you had suggested, you thought I was doing, on that sort of dry sound, which you really get more back here, and I was picking in a way that was really emphasizing that, and I still kind of like that sound. It's a really low quality sound, I think. It's sort of overtone free, but anyway, I've been working on different places of picking, as you described, and getting that circular thing down. So thank you for that. As far as the Voodoo Child, boy, I have such mixed feelings about that, because on the one hand, it sounds really cool, and that would be fun to play, and I think that, yeah, with a little bit of work I could probably do that, right, without waiting 14 years to do it. But I'm hesitant to spend much time on it because I don't want to get distracted from my immediate goal. This is 100 days to campfire strumming. It's not 100 days to playing a riff from Voodoo Child. So I don't want to get too far off the beaten path. And all the time that I like to play with that has nothing to do with campfire time either. So I'm just trying not to be distracted by competence, or by the attraction of competence. Be distracted from my goal for that. So after the 100 days are up, maybe I'll go to the Voodoo Child some more. Also, and I don't think I could be quite as articulate about this, I don't want to fall into a trap that I was in deeply with my piano study, and that I've talked to several people about, where it became really largely a finger dance that had no conceptual background or foundation to it. So I don't want this to be a dance that my fingers are doing that doesn't really mean anything to me. I want to have what I'm doing have a good theoretical underpinnings. And insofar it has been, I understand the construction of major chords and why they're constructed the way they are, and of major scales. So I'm all good with that. But with the Voodoo Child thing, oh, what are we doing? And what is this chord? And how does this relate to that? And this is a blues thing. And so I'm sure you could probably tell me some things about that, or I have some resources that could hook me up with that. But I don't really want to be playing it without some understanding of it. So I haven't spent much time on that. I did probably spend half an hour working on that, whatever. But so I'll look forward to doing more of that with you, just maybe not in the next several weeks. But another thing though that I like is I like how it's pushing forward the musicalities. Okay, you've been doing this for 2 weeks, but now here, do this, and I could chew on that, and it is motivating. So thanks.